We are privileged to hear from a leader at the forefront of our national development planning to deliver the opening keynote address. Please join me in welcoming the Vice Minister of National Development Planning, Vice Head of Bappenas, Mr. Febrian Alphyanto Ruddyard. Please proceed to the stage.
Excellency, distinguished business leaders, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the Nation Business Council for bringing us together today in this very room. It is always encouraging to be in a room where people are not only talking about growth, but about how growth actually happens. Let me start with something very simple. Indonesia's future will not be decided by how many plans we write or how much money we allocate. It will be decided by how productively our system works, how decisions are made, how quickly things move, and how much value we create from the effort already being made. That is the conversation we need to have. Over the past 2 decades, Indonesia has made solid progress. Our growth has been relatively stable. We have weathered global shock better than many. Incomes have risen gradually but consistently. But as Indonesia enters the upper middle income stage, the nature of our challenge changes. At this point, stability alone is no longer enough. Many countries reach this level only then to see growth slow down, productivity stagnate, and aspiration become harder to sustain. This is what we often call the middle income trap. And it's not a theory, it is a real development risk. We must avoid that path. This is why Indonesia Must 2045 matters. It's not just a target year, it is a promise to become a high-income, resilient, inclusive, and competitive nation. Escaping the middle income trap is not an optional. It defines the choices we make today. At its core, economic growth comes from 3 things: capital, labor, and productivity. And for many years, Indonesia growth relied heavily on adding inputs, more investment, more labor, more project. That model delivered result, but its limits are now very clear. Demographics are changing, global competition is tighter, and the cost of inefficiency is rising. From here on, growth must increasingly come from productivity, from doing things better and not just doing more. Productivity is not about pushing people to work harder. It is about removing the friction that stop people and organizations from working at their best. Business leaders know this instinctively. Long approval chains, unclear accountability, duplicated process, logistic bottlenecks. These are not abstract problems. They affect cost, speed, and competitiveness in every single day. At the national level, the same logic applies. Productivity is shaped by how our cities function, how supply chains move, how regulations are implemented, and how institutions coordinate. Every delay becomes a hidden cost. Every inefficiency quietly taxes growth. This is why Indonesia is placing productivity at the center of its future growth strategy through a total factor productivity-led approach. In simple terms, this means balancing investment and labor expansion with continuous improvement in efficiency, skill, technology, adoption, and innovation. Productivity is no longer a side effect of growth. It is a core pillar. One of the most powerful drivers of productivity is innovation, how knowledge is transferred into value. Indonesia produces a significant amount of research and scientific output, yet only a small part of that knowledge is adopted by industry. scaled into product, or embedded into business processes. This gap is not just an academic issue, it is productivity issue. Our challenge now is not only to generate knowledge, but to make sure innovation enters the real economy where it raises efficiency, competitiveness, and income. And this brings me to a critical point. Productivity does not happen in the government offices. It happens in factories, offices, warehouses, supply chains, and boardrooms. Government can set direction and remove obstacles, but productivity gains are realized when businesses redesign how work it is done. That is why Indonesia is advancing what we call a whole of society national productivity movement. The private sector leads in technology adoption and investment. Academia contributes research, skill, and innovation. Workers, local government, and communities turn these efforts into real outcomes. Productivity transformation only works when these actors are moved together. For business leaders, this agenda is not about compliance. It is about competitiveness. Lower cost, better use of talent, faster decision, stronger resilience. Firms that master productivity will scale faster, absorb shock better, and compete more confidently at home and globally. For government, the responsibility is very clear to create an environment where productivity is rewarded through predictable regulation, consistent implementation, and institutions that focus on what truly matters. This session is called Charting Indonesia Productivity State. Charting means setting direction, but it also means committing to the journey. What matters most is not what we say today, but what we choose to do differently tomorrow. Let me close on my personal note. Indonesia does not lack ambition. We also do not lack effort. What we sometimes lack is alignment between vision and execution, between policy and practice, between public purposes and private action. If we can get productivity right, alignment will follow. Growth will be more resilient, poverty reduction more durable, skill will translate into real opportunity. And Indonesia Mas 2045 will feel less likely a distant aspiration and more like a future we are deliberately building starting now. That is the invitation of this moment, and I hope we choose to take it together. And I thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Minister. Please remain on stage as we move to the next session where Mr. Vice Minister will hand over Indonesia National Productivity Master Plan 2025-2029 to mark the kickstart of a national productivity movement. And please proceed to the stage. Mr. Prayoga Wiradi Surya, Director of Policy and Program of the Indonesian Business Council. And next we have, please proceed to the stage, Mr. Mulya Amri, Chair of the Kadin Indonesia Institute. Ms. Nila Marita, Executive Director of Prasasti Center for Policy Studies. Mr. Jeffrey Andika Pakpahan, Economist, Apindo Research Institute. Ms. Rizka Gita Miranti, Chairwoman of HIPMI Institute. And Mr. Silvano Damanik, Indonesia Government and Public Services Leader, Partner of Deloitte as representative of private sector. And to all media partner team and documentation, please move forward to capture this moment. And please, Mr. Vice Minister, you can hand over the master plan to our esteemed guests on the stage. One by one. And all media partner team and documentation, please take capture of this moment. Thank you so much. Now, please take a group photo to commemorate this prestigious moment. Look at the camera. Okay, look at the camera in 3, 2, 1. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you so much. And please, everyone, remain on stage. Thank you, Mr. Febrian Alphyanto Ruddyard, as our keynote speech for today's session. And please remain on stage as we would like to invite the IBC Chief Operating Officer to present the token of appreciation. To Mr. William Sabandar, please proceed to the stage. Let's give a round of applause. Please give the token of appreciation. Okay, look at the camera in 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again, please take a photo together. Let's take a photo together, please. Everyone on the stage, look at the camera. In 3, 2, 1. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Let's give a round of applause for us.